Welcome back to Dicey Shores, where RPG dice determine my path to progressing through brighter shores. It is a lovely day on the beach here, very, very popular. It was just me, and then suddenly all of these folks doing gatherer or forager just ran up and just started picking up starfish. They are also very excited that we're no longer soft locked on the starfish on Alchemist. So just popping over to the old spreadsheet here. So I've made a slight adjustment. Up here I have sort of popped the closest thing to an in-game picture of dice that I could find, which is the dice jar, which I believe is a bone rate or the bone dice object. But yeah, I've made a kind of like a on the fly dice like a dice table that we can update on the fly rather than having to rely on the skill or the profession tab in game. This makes it a little bit more dynamic. This makes it which in turn makes it easier to swap dice on the fly. So as you can see here, if we roll, or we're currently rolling a d6, we're going to have 1 be combat, we're going to have 2 forager, 3 carpenter, 4 gatherer, and 5 woodcutter, and we'll re-roll 6s. And yeah, I think this is going to be the cleanest way to do this going forward. It saves me a bit of time in the editing process, and it makes it a little more clear, I think. For our entire dashboard here, I like having everything here, including the soft locks, the goal-ins, etc. So without much more yammering, I couldn't decide on yap or yammer. I feel like I say yap too much. Let's roll on 121. All right, so 4. So that is going to be the gatherer skill. And that means we are headed to get tad apples. Do we need anything special for that? No, I guess not. I guess we just pick the apples. Cool. So let's head on over to the forest. Right, so here are our... Wow, those are some beefy looking apples. Those are literally as big as my guy's head. That's crazy. Oh, I was wondering where this other one is. I must have never discovered it. There we go. Cool. So let's get to picking some apples. Exciting. Crazy stuff. Like I've said before, I feel like Gatherer is probably my most under-leveled skill on my main. Because it's not, at this point, not required for any side quests, I don't believe. So I think it was one of those that I literally got to 20 and then I just sort of dropped. Now, that being said, I know there's a couple of Hope Forest quests on the way, and I would be surprised if the one that seems very bee heavy was not going to include Gatherer in some way, shape, or form. I feel like we need to maybe well, I mean, there was the weekly leak this week that was the Bumble leak, which I can't decide if that's going to be a quest item or if it was just a silly little tease for what's to come. But either way, I do feel like Gatherer is going to play some role in that quest, if I had to guess. Speaking of the weekly leak, so I'm recording this on Saturday the 31st of May, and they have announced that the weekly leak, now that it also includes an in-game update, they're gonna move that to Mondays. So pretty good start to the week on that, and pretty good start to our progress on today's episode. So that is 7 Gatherer sorted. Let's pop ourselves over here, tick that boy off. Whoops, there we go. And let's get to rolling. So again, we're going to stay on the D6. I'm going to roll combat. It was inevitable. So, what do we got going on combat-wise? So the last thing we ticked off would have been Spriggans. Yep, okay. Great. So, that is looking like we're going to go to the Treeway Trail. Beautiful. And before we do that, I am going to quickly bank and go to the quartermaster and make sure I'm geared up. Just looking at the wiki right now, it looks like they are immune to Arboret, which makes sense, as they attack with that as well. And they are vulnerable to Infernae, which also makes sense. Now, I do believe that recently we got our hands on a great many Infernae weapons. So first we're back to metal. Look at us. Our best in slot is less guardy than that the Tempeste resist stuff. So yeah, this short sword is going to be what we're looking for. Two-handed's not really gonna matter, although I imagine this will probably be the better one. Yeah. And then, we gotta go with that ranged. Yeah. So, cool. We are kitted out to go fight some Spriggans. And this actually reminds me of that comment that I made about how I was like, oh, the rapier has to have different like speed, like it's got to be faster. Yes. So apparently, according to EB rules here, I'm just gonna pop open the comment. Every class has 3 weapons for each slot, which all have 3 different weapon speeds, which I didn't know. So thank you for that tip. Another tip that came in, which was pretty cool, was you can right click twice to, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to force this to happen, but yeah, you can apparently right click twice to grab loot from under an enemy at the very least. So maybe we can get to testing that. So thank you for that one, Zero. That is pretty great. And the reason that I'm able to so quickly and handily reference my browser window like that is I finally did it. I finally got my second monitor sorted. I know a few people in the Discord have seen that, the Blades of Adothri Discord, which shout out to them. Join if you're looking for a really chill place to talk all things Brighter Shores. But yeah, I was like, hey, I finally, oh wow, that's embarrassing. Finally ended up getting the second monitor, so we are very efficient as far as having everything prepped and ready for recording. I am able to actively monitor the capture, so I'm not saying I'll never accidentally leave Dicecam open or the browser open or anything like that, but it's less likely now than it previously was. So I would love to get you this first Spriggan kill and then kind of sit back, AFK a little bit, not too hard because we know how poorly that will go, and get some editing done. But I do want to commit to showing the first pickup of any sort of card. Now, wow, that two-handed does seem to be quicker, which an important thing to note is DPS does not equal, or weapon speed does not solely equal DPS, as pointed out by Zero as well. But I will say that the higher damage output quicker than the Infernae sword might be the shout, but I don't know. We have historically also found that using the shield is typically the best thing to do for that extra defense bonus. a lot of it is going to be up to virtual dice rolls on this. So, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with two-handed for the time being because it seems to be working well for us. But that could change at any moment, especially if we get a better Infernape weapon as a drop. We'll see. Hilariously, and this has happened twice now, but the plate legs drops have been overall a downgrade, with the exception of the Tempest Day resistance being an upgrade, which I think is really funny given how long I was whining about getting poor Tempest Day resist on everything. Now it's like I still am on these drops. However, it is technically an upgrade from our best in slot Arboret resist legs, but you know, that's again to be expected. It's why we hang on to pretty much one of every damage type in our Quartermaster. Yeah, for exact situations like this. Oh my god, it's finally happening. The shield that I just picked up is actually a pretty significant upgrade over the guard shield, with the exception, hilariously, of the Tempest Day resist. So I'm going to Quartermaster that because it should still end up being the best in slot, presumably the best in slot for Tempest Day. But we have finally, at the very least right now, we have shed all guard identity, which is just so weird to see. That being said, if I had to kill something with Tempest Day again, I would clearly be in full guard outfit, given what I was wearing prior to this grind. But yeah, it's not like I'm in any rush to grind fashion for like the class versus fashion for, oh, is this a death? This is the first death since that first one. Hey, no, it's not. Haha. Ye of little faith. Me of little faith. Not that I'm in any rush to have full class equipment, but it is just like I've said before, it is a nice measure of how, like a visible measure of how the account is progressing. Kind of like if you think back to, and it's funny because I've been kind of sleeping on 04scape. Oh, okay. Well, I was tried to test the right click thing there, but I don't think I did it right. I've been sleeping on 04scape for a little bit, but when I was watching Mudkip play it, he raised a good point where it's kind of like, because you can't just open up, like in RuneLight when you play OSRS, you can just open up anybody's, like you could just click in-game, look them up, open the high scores in the sub-tab, or on the sidebar of RuneLight, and you see all the high scores and everything, and so that tells you everything you need to know. But like, your first impression of somebody is pretty much what they're wearing and their combat level, like back in 2004. So that's kind of what I feel like here. It's like I see somebody's level above their head and I see what they're wearing. Like I've seen some really cool swords in Chronopolis, like really high level people doing combat there, and I've seen like insane, like it almost looks like it's a two-handed, but it's like bright orange, looks like a big flame blade or something. Like it's crazy. I didn't even know gear like that existed in this game yet. So very, very cool visual style on what I'm assuming is higher level gear. So hopefully we get to start seeing some of that eventually, but I imagine that's a ways off. My main has sub 200 combat, and I don't see anything like that, so there's no chance that a level 30 combat in me is gonna see anything like that. But if I see it in the wild, I'm definitely gonna point it out because I think it's rad. All right, well, Spriggans seem to be very consistent with their drops. We are getting the monster part, and if we're not getting the monster part, we are... I have apparently never looked at the info button on an armor piece. If we're not getting the monster part, we're getting a piece of armor. We've only had one death so far at the front of this, which you saw on camera. Everything else has been... the two-handed weapon really seems to be doing work, despite it not having type advantage. And the... I haven't seen any new upgrades since the shield, I don't believe. I think that's been the only upgrade that I've picked up. So, some of these might be best in slots for other styles, or other damage types. So I am probably just going to deposit. We'll sort out our storage when we need to. I'm just keen to keep the momentum going on this grind, because we've made decent progress. We don't have many left to go, so we will be moving on swiftly. Right, so this is, I believe, the last kill, and that is potentially my new favorite name that I've seen in game, Little Wiggle. That's amazing. And they're the first, which means they are the genius behind that. That's beautiful. That's truly amazing. And that is level 31 combat. Look at us go. And a nice kettle helmet that, wow, actually considerable upgrade. Oh, well, at the very least over this one in a great many stats. So hopefully a new best in slot. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. Let's get over to the sheet and tick off 31. And let's get another roll going. Okay, 2 is Forager. Cool. So back to Hope Forest. Nope. Hope Port even. And we are going to... We've not done our Gray Louse yet. So let's take care of that. Which means I believe we need a sack. Yeah, so... I've definitely done that before, where I've like gone to the place and forgotten to bring the container that I needed. But yeah, so after we do that, we will be back to the starfish. I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where we need 100, but it would be nice to just buy them and not think about them. So where are these guys? The tree stump is down here. Perfect. And it was funny, I was just looking at the alchemy table. So these are reagent for, I believe it's the wealth potion. I think it's level 26 reagent for alchemy. And that is a reagent that we are literally never going to use until episode 5 comes out, because 23 is our cap on episodes 1 through 4 alchemy for the time being. So until episode 5 releases, I don't think we're ever going to get past this point. And that is our single Gray Louse that we need. We will bank that at the alchemist. Matter of fact, let's go bank all of this stuff now and lock in for some starfish. So I did forget that we are at level 20, and that means that we've hit that first like big experience wall, where this grind is going to take, I believe it's like 5 inventories worth of starfish to get through, which is not so bad. This is very chill, but it is made kind of slower by the fact that we have to teleport back, deposit them. Like, again, we don't have to. We are past the point where these materials are going to be used, I believe. However, when it comes time to really have to start liquidating all of our assets for like a really massive tool upgrade or something, like I feel like I am going to regret if I just dropped the inventories out here and I just grinded out the levels. I don't know, that maybe that's naive. Maybe in I don't know, however many episodes it takes until we get to like a grade 2 or grade 3 tool upgrade. I don't know. Or if we ever end up like flush with cash, we start enchanting. I don't know. I mean, banking is not going to be the worst thing in the world. And at the very least, it kind of will be nice to open up the ingredients bank and be like, wow, look at all this stuff we picked up ourselves. I don't know, kind of like a badge of honor, I guess, for playing the game and picking up starfish. I don't know. Shout out to Frozen Titan over here, who is on their last day of COD. I sent them a little blessing. Right, and these last couple of starfish will take us all the way. Wow, okay, experience remaining 141. Exactly 141 experience gained. That's clean. All right, so that's 21 forager. Beautiful. So let's get that ticked off in our handy dandy spreadsheet. And we are staying with the D6 by the looks of this, and let's go ahead and get ourselves another roll. Oh goody, back to combat. I was just hoping for a slightly shorter grind, but you know what, I can't really complain. I'll be real, I'm not even gonna bother depositing these 3 starfish because we are going to get so many drops from Spriggans, we're gonna have to go deposit anyway. But you know what, I complain, but I am glad that we are continuing to level up combat because we do eventually need to go get rid of that pesky bear with 2 heads. So I was letting my mind wander a little bit, and I've realized we might be screwed after this combat level. If I'm not mistaken, I just can't get to Brambleths. Oh no. Oh no. Unless I can go talk to... You know what? We're going to have a side quest briefly. Because I don't remember if... So I know you need to get clearance past this point, I think. I might go... I'm going to do some more research. I'm going to keep killing Spriggans. And then I'm going to do some more research. This... We might need to make an exception for our rules to keep I'm gonna have a think about this. Okay, I have excellent news, I think. So I'm looking at the walkthrough for this quest, and it seems like it's pretty early on that we need to talk to Shaggy. We need to go to the guard shack, get the pass, go back to Shaggy, and then we should be able to get to that area. While it does technically require us starting Forgotten Things, I think it breaks the rules less than skipping Brambleths entirely / grinding on Spriggans until 35 / just skipping the 35 grind entirely and trying the bear. Like, I think this is the best possible workaround. We don't have to worry about it just yet. Well, actually, imminently we have to worry about it. But yeah, I think that's the way I want to handle this. That's what makes the most sense to me. Technically speaking, the goal is to complete the quest, and so if we're starting the quest, we're not technically breaking the rules, I guess. I don't know. Oh, mate, what an upgrade. Beautiful. Look at those purple pants. Right, and with this Spriggan kill, if it doesn't kill me first, oh boy, that was close. That is 32 combat, which means that we have yet another KP to spend, this time on pearl crabs. So we'll get that tick there, and we can see, oop, little bit of fiddling needed on the conditional formatting there. Some spillage, probably when I like duplicated this column, I never corrected some of these. But that means that our next combat point or knowledge point will be spent on the combat skill. So that is perfect. So let's get one final roll to round off this video. 2 is back to forager. So more starfish picking up and putting in the bank. We are in the heat of an incredibly tense game of rock, paper, scissors. And V and I have tied like 3 times. Oh, no. All right. So I've won and she's won. Let's see. Oh, God. Yes! Oh, we did it. Okay. Oh, wait. It's best to 3. This is so tense. I hope this is the content that you folks have come for. Oh, no. It's 2-2. This is awesome. All right, I'm sticking paper again. Yes. Oh, big oof. This one is not going nearly as well. We're going to go for rock. Okay. A tie. We could bring this back. We could definitely bring this back. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. So if I were me, I would do the wait, yes, that's a win. Okay. Okay. So now I'm thinking scissors again. And I lost. Well, that was a very pleasant, unexpected detour. That was, so I think I've mentioned it before. They've definitely been on the video before, but Blades of Adothria does a weekly gathering. And I always consistently forget that it's happening while I'm recording sometimes, and I just so happen to see the Discord ping when I got back. We just had dinner, and I saw the Discord ping from like over almost an hour ago, and I was like, oh God, where is it? Where are they gathering? And they were at the monument, which I was like, oh, I'm in the area, might as well. So yeah, that was awesome. And Trickaroo had an incredible run on, oh, what did we call it? Hang on. It was I gotta find it. It was Fist Bump Wave Excited Wave. So we played rock paper scissors. Well, I mean, you will have just seen it, but it was basically rock paper scissors using 3 emotes that vaguely look like rock paper scissors. And it was an absolute blast. I love silly little things like that. Like I said, I've definitely said that before in a recording where I was like, oh, it would be cool, like, you know, if there were like there are like social events that you can do, like just with even though there's an absence of group content at the minute, there's like ideas that people will come up with, and that was one such idea. And I think stuff like that's very cute. I still think that like scavenger hunt thing would be really cool. I don't know, maybe I'll talk to the clan admins about it. I definitely wouldn't be able to play it on this character, given that I'm severely behind on the episode unlocks, but if you know, can hop on the main and participate in that. I don't know. And with that knowledge point, we can unlock pearl cap crabs. Nice. So we pop ourselves over onto the old spreadsheet, which I have fixed the formatting on. We are now all caught up on knowledge points. And now we can go back to picking up stars. And with these last 2 wrinkled starfish, that is gonna be 22 forager. So 1 more level of forager on the starfish before we are able to switch to monument pieces. So let's get that marked on the old spreadsheet here, and that puts us at 125 total. Really clean level. Again, love me some 5s, love me some 10s. Our dice results table is still gonna be on the D6 next episode, but yeah, overall, can't be mad with the progress made this episode. We are getting ever closer to being able to fight the bear there. As I said before, next time that we roll combat, we are going to have to start Lost and Found, Forgotten Things, just so that we can access the Bramblets. But that should not be a problem. It may just confuse me way down the line when we get back to Forgotten Things that I had already started the quest. But yeah, that's, you know, we're moving along. Forager will put us at our next goal end. Combat 3 levels away from continuing on main story episode 2. And then off the top of my head, not a lot going on in Hope Forest skills other than obviously being able to get through the main story completely. Actually, that being said, that's a weird one, because now that I've combined, like, sandwiched all of these quests in here, technically we need to hit our Hope Forest requirement on that, don't we? Yeah, 45 Hope Forest. Oh, that's interesting. And 36 combat. Okay, so the goalpost may have moved slightly. I will double check that that's reflected in the sheet. Either way, we've got a lot of Hope Forest skilling to do in order to progress. But that's where I'm going to leave it on this episode. A bit of a longer one because we had an unexpected detour, but that is always welcome. And yeah, so thank you so much for joining. Next time we will roll yet again for level 126. And yeah, thanks for hanging out and have a good one.